Yeah.
You know, what are the most impressive? I mean, you've had an impressive career, but one of the things that like I'm most impressed about is Ledbetter, that you had a chance to meet Gordon Parks, who's like a hero to many of us. And I just want to know, like, being able to work with him on his first film, and like how was just meeting this guy who's a symbol in our Black history story. Like
Yeah.
how was it meeting Gordon Parks? How was he personally?
Well, that's one thing that I feel good about my career, because a lot of things you kind of go, well, it's sort of this and that. It wasn't all of that, but I'm good. But the one of the highlights was meeting and working with Gordon, and I knew him from the time we did the movie through the rest of his life. And he was always very kind to me, and he gave me my first break. And when I didn't really, because when I auditioned, man, I didn't, but something about me, he connected to. And I remember him asking me, he said, you got to drive a team of horses. Do you know anything about horses? And I lied. I said, oh, yeah, I can drive. And then after I said, well, I'm sorry, but I really can't. He said, you got to have a big dance. And I said, well, yeah, I can dance. And then I said, Mr. Parks, I can learn a dance. But, he looked at me for about 2 or 3 minutes, and then he said, okay. So he gave me that. And he liked the work, and like I said, we were friends. He introduced me to Sidney Poitier, which didn't turn into any kind of work. But I just had so much respect for that whole Renaissance, the guys who stepped out of, in those times, we were always constantly reminded of what wasn't possible. You know what I mean? I'm glad now with this so-called diversity, and we're stepping into roles that we never had before. But it was always this overwhelming desire to say, don't. And Gordon just broke all that and did some amazing work. And he was just an extraordinary man. I'm just so happy to, like I said, to have known him.
I want to follow up on that theme about what's not possible, because I know that you began doing a lot of writing,
Yeah.
and I know, like today with all the streaming platforms, we're seeing actors that look like us, and more stories that we never would have thought possible even like 10 years ago.
Right.
And I wonder if you could dust off some of those old scripts or stories, what do you think that might not have been a possible film then, or a possible play then, that might be prime time for today?
Yeah, I think our stories haven't been told, and there's so much there, and and I think it's important that we tell our stories, because even when our stories were told, they weren't necessarily told from our perspective. And I see that happening now. I'm a little disappointed in myself, because I always assumed, I said, I'm going to stop the writing and focus on my acting. And now that I got time to get back to the writing, I find it very difficult to concentrate, man. It's like, but I think it's really, really important. I think it's, I have 2 generations of kids, 2 40 years younger than me and 2 20 years younger than me. And seeing them sort of step up. But I always say, whatever you're going to do it now, because there'll come a point in life when, that drive is just not going to be there. But I executive produce Family Business with Carl Weber. And, I'm happy for him. But there's just so many stories. And I'd love to see us get to a point where it doesn't have to be crime driven, or it doesn't have to be, the horror stories. I had a very charmed life. We were poor, but honestly, man, I've never ever wanted to change places with anybody. And I'd love to see that part, our humanity. And as much as I love all the actors and The Harder They Fall and the filmmaking, I'm like, okay, I want to like somebody. I want to ride with somebody who I appreciate, and not, we can't all be Shaft. And I don't think we survived that way. So I would love to see people step into that writing, creating product. And I'm trying to step there myself, but I'm just being honest, a little bit more difficult than I thought it would be. I can when I find good material, I can help move it forward. But in terms of just me sitting down and focusing, it's challenging.
Well, I got some good material. I'm gonna reach out to you, see if we can move it forward together. I've loved
All
your
right.
all the Ghostbusters. I remember that one episode in Webster. I remember, you know, it's like I've grown up watching you, and I really appreciate your art and everything that you put on the screen, and can't wait to see everything that you got coming forward as a writer, producer, or actor. So thanks for your time.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that, and just good luck to you, man. I know you now, so I'm watching. You know, so keep stepping.